Hey everybody, welcome back to Trading with Geo. Today we'll be doing another daily recap. We'll be going over today, Tuesday the 6th trading session. And I'm going to tell you right away, I fucked up. I forgot my headphones in my car, so audio might be a little shaky here. The audio on my laptop isn't too great. Usually I'd have the mic on my headphones to do voice recordings, but we'll see. So if audio quality is pretty bad, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'll get my headphones back for tomorrow's daily recap. But all right, so let's start off with the daily chart on crude oil. So I did take a trade on crude oil today. We'll get into that in a little bit. But as you can see, we finally broke below this little support and resistance zone right here. Nice. This was today's trading session. Finally broke below it. Looks like we even broke below this wedge that we drew out here. Okay, so that's great. Like I said, maybe we can finally start targeting these lows here that I was talking about yesterday. So that's awesome. We'll see where we open tomorrow morning. But right now, the short side's looking really good. We'll be looking for shorts tomorrow. So yeah, that's great. We'll talk more about it when I drop down intraday, but let's go over the S&P daily chart now. Okay, so as you can see here, we saw a pretty big range today. If you remember what I was saying yesterday, this 200-day moving average is very important, and we could see a bounce of it. So now that we did see this bounce, let's talk a little bit more about the moving averages. One in particular is the 10-day, which is the blue line right here. So the 10-day is almost kind of like a magnet for price, or even like it has like a rubber band effect. So when price moves far away from it, it typically likes to rebound to it. So for example, I was looking at this chart earlier. If you look down here at this low, it's almost similar to what we're seeing here. A lot of consecutive down days. We got pretty far away from the 10-day and we bounced right back to it. So this is very typical of price, especially in ES. When we get far enough away from the 10-day, we like to rebound to it. So potentially that could be the upside target. Also, there's this little inefficiency here. There's a gap. I'll show you in a second on the SPX chart. But so I'm still kind of neutral on this pair. I don't know if I want to be in it just because, as I was talking about yesterday, the fundamentals are kind of controlling this market at the moment. But when we drop down intraday, I'll show you some opportunities that we can take. But let's start with the crude oil chart because that's the one I took a trade in today. So let's drop down intraday. And so this is the 5-minute chart for crude oil. This is today's trading session, the overnight, and yesterday, Monday's trading session. Okay? So before I get into the trade, let's talk about where we opened. So we opened on this bullish candle here. Okay? And what I always like to do is see where we open relative to yesterday's volume profile. So we open here right about the 54.75 level, and we are essentially right in value. So this is yesterday's volume profile again, and we're right in value. So it means we're in between the value area high and low. And we're also right above yesterday's POC, yesterday's RTH POC. Okay, so right when we open, you see a nice bounce, a bounce off both the value area low here and also the POC. Bounced above it and we rallied up. Now remember guys, we are looking for shorts on crude oil. If you remember what I said yesterday, this zone up here between these two lines, so remember this red line up here is last week's value area low, as you can see here. And this bottom line right here is Friday's value area low. So if you remember what I said yesterday, this zone, this entire zone, is a great zone to look for shorts. Okay, so we are looking for shorts. So when I see this initial rally up, I'm looking for one of two things, or two different things. Either we rally up into the zone, and then I'm going to look for a breakdown. At that point, I'd be targeting yesterday, Monday's value area low. So that's one scenario that I was looking for. Or the second scenario is we chop around in here for a bit, and then we break down below yesterday's value area low, which is eventually what we saw. But so yeah, those are the two things that I was looking for. Initially, when we opened and I saw this big rally up, I was thinking that we were going to break up into this zone up here. So that was, what I thought was going to happen. But as you can see, we kind of chopped around for a bit. Actually didn't even look at the overnight volume profile. but I'm guessing that right around this level there was probably the POC. Let's just draw that in. Or it could be completely wrong, but let's see. Yeah, so it was the overnight POC right here. We bounced off it, perfectly. Again, volume profile works, guys. Trust me, if I haven't proven it to you yet, it's showing up every single day. But so yeah. And keep in mind, I didn't show the overnight volume profile to start just because we are opening in value. Remember, typically I don't like to look at the overnight unless we got down a significant amount and we're out of the previous RTH session's value area. But again, today we opened in the value area of yesterday, so I did not look at the overnight volume profile. Just keep that in mind. So again, okay, so we consolidated right around here, we rejected off of the overnight POC, and we're still in the value area of yesterday. So what did we see? We chopped around for a bit, and we started breaking down lower, okay? So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, scenario one, this push up to the zone, is probably out of the books. We start breaking down lower, and then we stop here, or we stutter a little bit here, at the value area low. At this point, I'm looking to get short on a break of it, okay? We had a big breakdown here, big momentum candle. I'll zoom in a little bit. Right here, we break down. Awesome, that's just what I'm looking for. At this point, I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback, like I always am. So I'm waiting, patiently waiting. We rally up. You see a big rejection here off this wick. At this point, I want to see what the next candle is doing. So intraday, as this was live, it was breaking up a little bit, and then once I saw another rejection of it, so 2 candles back to back with wicks, that was my signal to go short. I enter on the next 5-minute candle, and I keep my stop right above both this the high of this wick and also the short-term swing high. If you go down to like a 1-minute chart, I'm sure this is like a swing high. I won't do that, just take my word for it. So I keep my stop level right above here. So my stop was about 20 ticks, and then of course my 2-to-1 risk reward, my profit was 41 ticks. Now if you remember what I said yesterday when I was going over our first loss, the ticks do not matter. I risked 2% of my account per trade. So I risked 2% here. It happened to be 20 ticks in this trade, and I made 4%, okay? Now, another good lesson to be learned here. As you can see, we chopped around for a while, a very, very slow grind down. And this is, a great lesson to be learned because you never want to close your trades early. Keep them open. It's okay to take a loss. But if you were to get scared right around this level here, because we were pulling back a bit, if you were to have closed it, you would have missed out on the profit, okay? Yeah, it is sloppy, it is choppy, you don't want to be in trades like this. I understand psychologically it's tough, but you have to keep the trade open, okay? It's okay to take the loss. Don't worry about taking the loss. So we did chop around a bit for about, how long was this? So a little over, 2 hours we chopped around? Wait, yeah, okay. For 2 hours we chopped around before we hit our take profit, but we did eventually see our take profit, and as you can see, going into the close, we went quite a bit lower, okay? So this is a great sign. As we saw on the daily chart, we finally broke down below, let's go back to that daily chart, finally broke down below this support and resistance zone. Awesome, and we even broke down below this wedge. Like I said before, maybe we can finally see these lows taken out. So that's our next target, okay? Let's go back to that 5-minute. So we did break down below. Overall, the trade was great. It did chop around a lot more than I would have liked, but we hit our take profit, and that's all that matters. So going into the overnight right now, this is what's going on. It's currently 10:30. We are still heading lower. Yeah, like I said, targeting these lows. Let's try to take those out. Hopefully we don't see more consolidation, but tomorrow, remember, tomorrow is crude oil inventories every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. So we'll see what that does. Hopefully we see a push up, because if you guys remember, I really like fading that news play. It's been working the past few weeks. And what I mean by that is, when I say fade it, I mean we'll see what it does initially during the news release. If it goes up, I'll take that short. If it goes down, probably won't take the long, but as I've been saying, fading it has been working out perfectly. So we'll see what happens then. Hopefully see further downside momentum. Let's go. Actually, let's draw the volume profile for today. So, okay. So if we do rally up, I want to see this act as resistance. Or even, this swing low, the overnight low that we saw here. But, this is as high as I want to go, this 54.36 level. If we do start rallying up, I do not want to see a break above this. Either we see a strong rejection or we don't even reach it at all. That's fine. But again, we are looking for shorts. So I'll leave that on for now. All right, now let's go into the mini S&P intraday. What did we see here? If you remember what I said on the daily, let's go back to that actually. We were at this 200 overnight, bounced up. All right, so again, what do I like to do? I like to see where we open relative to the previous day's volume profile. So we opened here at the 28.62 level, and it's right in value area. Again, just like crude oil, we are in the value area. All right, so what did we see? We saw a push up initially, and then we failed at yesterday, Monday's value area high. We broke up above it a little bit, and then we immediately rejected off it, started chopping around in value area again. And if you look, we kind of bounced off yesterday's POC right here. Okay, almost tapped it, essentially did. And then we started chopping around a little bit, started going higher. I did not take it. I wasn't really looking at this pair just because, as I was saying, news is heavily influencing it right now, so I don't want to be in it too much. It's just too volatile for my liking. So we went up slowly, chopped around, hit this value area high again here, and then eventually we broke above it. This is the value area high of Monday, broke above it, saw a pretty nice range. Then we went right back down, kind of chopped around for a little bit longer. Kind of sloppy price action. You could have taken, no, we'll see. Kind of neutral on this pair. I'm not really sure where it wants to go. I don't want to be in it. But if you go down to, or let's look at the SPX. Okay, so we did fill the gap from yesterday during today, as you can see here. Or actually, I think I have it open here. Yeah, okay. So we did fill this gap in. This is Monday to Tuesday's gap. Okay, we did tap it. So if we are looking for further upside, probably want to see this gap filled, right? Want to target here as our next short-term target, 29.27 level. So going back to today, if we are aiming for that, ideally, I wouldn't want to see us close that much lower below this Monday's value area high. Looking at overnight right now, we are going lower. I don't really want to see a break down below Monday's POC. But let's even look at today's volume profile, just for the sake of planning out tomorrow. Okay, yeah, so I do not want to see, if we do want to see a fill of that gap, the gap right here, I do not want to see a close and hold below 28.51, which is the value area low of today's trading session, of Tuesday's trading session. So let's draw that in quickly. All right, so yeah, I don't want to see a close and hold down below it. Could see a bounce overnight and then chop around for a little bit into open. And then at that point, I would like to target either the value area high here and then eventually push higher and close that gap. Close this gap right here. So we'll see. That's a possible scenario. If we do break down below it and hold, then we're probably most likely going to target this value area low of Monday, which is at 28.29. So two possible scenarios there. Either we break down below it, hit this value area low, or we hold it overnight into tomorrow, and then we can go up higher and then fill in that gap. Two possible scenarios there. Let's go back to crude. Again, with crude, heading into tomorrow, maybe see a push up. Don't want to see a close above into this value area here, today's value area. I do not want to see that, because if we do, we're most likely going to see more chop. Another rotational day of just sideways price action. Hopefully we don't. Hopefully the news is a catalyst to head down lower. We'll see. So yeah, those are two plans to look for tomorrow. I think that about wraps it up for today. Thanks for joining me again, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.